Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, and let's get this out of the way first and foremost. No, I am not going back to 40k content. This video is just a brief dip back into the pond, though if I wanted to make the rare random 40k video, I will regardless, it's my channel. That aside, I have been engaging in the hobby on my own time as an average Joe hobbyist. Again, after I stopped making videos for the universe. And it's got me to kind of have this retrospective look on everything. The minis, the lore, GW, and the community of 40k. So without standing too much on ceremony, let's jump into my thoughts. One thing I absolutely want to say is I'm infinitely happier with the hobby as just a regular hobbyist again. Now don't get me wrong, I had a lot of fun writing and putting together the homebrew highlights in the Warhammer 40k in a nutshell series, but what always soured even that content was the other side of the coin. As a content creator, I had to constantly keep up to date on the latest news for the hobby. After all, making a news video on the latest line update and price changes from GW are guaranteed to do somewhat well in the algorithm. However, instead of exciting or even middling news from GW, I was constantly bombarded with far more than I bargained for in the name of staying informed. Oh yes, there was news from GW all the time, but only a tiny fraction of it ever seemed to be describable as good. Most of it was disheartening as a fan. Either reports of price spikes over the course of the pandemic, or GW cracking its knuckles at us creators over the coming crippling disappointment of Warhammer Plus. If that weren't enough to hurt one's enjoyment of the hobby, there was also the community state. Said state being one of war, ironically, and I don't mean tabletop matches. IRL politics being forced into the game and universe despite none of it fitting existing player understanding of the lore. Demands for drastic changes and retconning by people calling themselves fans has been becoming more and more rampant on, of course, Twitter and Reddit. I want to ask this once out loud, just once. How can you call yourself a fan of something if you want to change everything about it to service your sensibilities and tastes? That's not a fan, that's a detractor. So the creators of 40k, GW, are constantly making the hobby more and more unappealing and unenjoyable. And the community conjures more images of a volatile war zone than the hobby itself does these days. So what about the novels and the comics? Surely they provide a more than adequate escape from the rest of it, right? Well, thankfully this aspect of the hobby is one that is only partly degraded. Yes, some of the media and material coming from GW has been agonizing to read. I'm looking at you, Marnius Calgar. But we've had some good things as well, like the Sisters of Battle comic that recently came out. It's been very faithful to the lore, which is it's enjoyably faithful to the universe and the tone of 40k most of all. So in short, the best thing I can say about the overall hobby is that some of the books and comics are still enjoyable. Not a very good sign, if that's the best I can say. Now I know this video sounds like I'm trying to blackpill everyone from 40k, and the truth is I'm not. I still love 40k, and as I said towards the beginning of this video, being a normal hobbyist has helped that quite a bit. How though? Isn't all of what I've said thus far still a problem? Yes. None of the issues I've noted in this video are anywhere near resolved and ever present within 40k. However, as a hobbyist, I've looked at the most recent news less and less. I painted minis more and more and allowed myself to indulge in the older novels of the Horus Heresy and Siege of Terra series to revitalize my love of the lore and the universe. Which led me to my current perspective and state of mind on the hobby. That being said, so what if GW names the Emperor? So what if they retcon every beloved pre-established aspect of the lore? I don't have to acknowledge any of it. I don't have to buy the latest books. I don't have to play the latest edition. I don't have to buy the newer miniatures that I find overpriced. The upside with a hobby like 40k, Warhammer Fantasy, and D&D is that you hold all the power as a player and a hobbyist. If I don't like 9th edition, I'll buy an older edition and play that. If I don't like the latest books, the old ones are still there untainted. I can read those. If I don't like the minis, I'll sculpt and 3D print my own to play with. And save potentially thousands of dollars in the long run with 3D printing. I'd say that's win-win. Quite frankly, GW only still stands because of fan loyalty and laziness towards 3D printing, both of which are waning with their increasingly bad decision making. To be honest, I'm surprised it took me this long to mellow out to the perspective I have, and in all honesty, I owe a credit to my buddy Ludus and Finium. who has openly had this perspective and point of view for a very long time, and despite that, I still needed to quit making 40k content to come around to that way of thinking myself. Talk about dense. All in all, I'm enjoying the 40k I love and haven't really stressed about any of the overarching drama or controversies going on currently, because as I see it, it has nothing to do with my hobby. If GW goes under tomorrow, fans will make their own additions and lore in their place. Minis will still be produced and 40k will live on. Now, before anyone thinks I'm saying give up the fight against the political activists continuously invading the hobby and other hobbies, that is not what I'm saying at all. It's commendable to keep up the fight and push for what made 40k great originally to be preserved and revived going forward so that we fans can actually look forward to the latest novels, comics, editions, and minis. With any luck, that fight will actually be fruitful in the end. However, if it is not, know that they can't truly take this or any similar hobby away from you. No matter what they say or do, there's only so much they can control, and we are not one of them. Well, that's pretty much it for me in regards to how I see 40k currently, and how I'm enjoying the hobby still in my way. Hope you all enjoyed, and feel free to disagree, agree, or voice your own perspective in the comment section below. I genuinely welcome it. I can't say subscribe for more 40k content, as I'm a gaming channel now. I stream Final Fantasy XIV regularly as Endwalker is out, as well as a wealth of other games, including Darktide and Space Marine 2, when they come out in their due time. So feel free to subscribe for that. I would love to have you on the streams and chat away with you. Otherwise, that's it from me, guys. Make sure you have a fantastic morning, evening, or night, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Remember to leave a like and subscribe.